Hey everybody, it's Nate and you're watching the Legacy Sports channel. This video is going to be a little different. Right now I'm in the middle of a move, so all my usual equipment is sprawled across my new apartment. So this video is probably going to be a bit of a struggle, but I had a topic cross my mind that has been bothering me somewhat, and it is involving Paul George. Now, for those of you guys who don't know, I'm a pretty big basketball fan, and the team that drew me into the sport was the Indiana Pacers back in the early 2000s when they had their playoff battles with the Detroit Pistons, Reggie Miller, Ron Artest, Jamal Tinsley, and Stephen Jackson. That was the squad that made me fall in love with basketball. So I continued to be a fan of this team up until now, and have seen the numerous draft picks and players that have come and gone, like Danny Granger. But then in 2010, a particular player got drafted, Paul George. Now, for those of you guys who know Paul George, you know he's a bona fide all-star player, and he showed his prowess on the court. But as a player who is not only, or excuse me, as a person who's not only a fan of the Indiana Pacers, but who is also a Paul George fan, it's been frustrating to see his lack of playoff success since he's left the Pacers. I remember back in 2013, I was paying some deep attention to the NBA playoffs, and I watched the Pacers versus Heat series. And I was chewing my nails like a maniac with anxiety at how close those games were. But that was the series where Paul George truly arrived and became a superstar. I don't know if you guys who are old enough to remember the that amazing dunk he had on Birdman. I was a high school student at the time, so walking back to school the next day with bragging rights after that epic highlight felt so good at the time, as well as the many big shots he made during that series. Unfortunately, they lost, but at the time, I was actually quite satisfied with his performance, given that the Pacers hadn't had success like that or a legitimate superstar like that since Reggie Miller, basically. And so I was excited to see what the Pacers would do going forward. And they continue to have winning seasons, but they would never be able to quite get over that hump. And yes, you can thank LeBron James for that. But it was, again, very frustrating. Eventually, Paul George wanted out, and he got bounced around from many teams. I still gave him my support for the amazing years he gave to the Pacers organization and was still rooting for him. But then he did have a pretty bad experience or event occur where he had that devastating leg injury during a Team USA exhibition. Yet he was able to overcome that, surprisingly, and still come back and give all-star performances for consecutive years, but still no playoff success, no championships. Then the trade from OKC to the Clippers happened, and it was at that point that I thought, okay, Paul George has a legitimate chance to win a championship, and he's going to get it this time, alongside Kawhi, who was coming off that Raptors championship run. And so, me being a huge Paul George fan, I was super excited. And I thought he would capitalize on that, but unfortunately, that fell to the wayside as well. Neither him nor Kawhi could really stay healthy consistently, and they never developed that team chemistry you need to win a championship. Fast forward to now, that team has been blown up, and he's on the Sixers now. And this is where the, uh, I guess, main point of this video comes into play. I'm really frustrated with Paul George. At times I have a love-hate relationship with him. I'll see flashes of what he can be during a game, and flashes where he just dominates on the court offensively, but then he just disappears. It's like he comes and goes, and at times there are moments where I wonder how passionate he really is about the game, and whether or not that's the reason why he hasn't been able to win. Right now, the Sixers are 2-11, and this is with a squad that has two players that are superstars on paper, Paul George and Joel Embiid, as well as Tyrese Maxey, who's coming off of a All-Star season. So I honestly have no clue, like, why the Sixers aren't doing well. And it's really annoying. And I think that this is going to be the last chance, really, that Paul George has to really win. He's 34 years old. He's been in the league for close to 15 years now. And so there's going to come a point in time where teams are going to see that he's essentially capped and his usefulness on the court isn't what it used to be. And so he could end up like Carmelo Anthony, who gets bounced from team to team and no one really wants him. And as players get older, they become a defensive liability. And as you can see, the NBA really is a young man's game at the moment. And so the amount of musical chairs left in this game for Paul George to land on is declining at a pretty fast rate. I hope he's able to figure it out. He's been my favorite player since I was a kid. So I hope he's able to sort it out, work it out between him and Joel Embiid, and have a winning season again, and maybe compete for a championship. You can hope, right? Anyways, I just wanted to drop a video for you guys, let you know I'm still alive and breathing. Maybe do something that's a little unscripted. Let me know what you think about this video. If I should just go off the cuff and just talk about some observations I've been making on the game of basketball and what I think. Or if you'd like me to continue with a more formatted, kind of scripted way of doing videos, let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe. This is Nate, and you've been watching the Legacy Sports channel. I'll see you all in the next one.